Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Pikushi. Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Gaurnita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtadarsha Shishimad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtadarsha Shishimad, His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham ki, Mayapur Dham ki, Jagannath Kshetra Dham ki, Ganga Mai ki, Yamuna Mai ki, Tulsi Maharani ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Okay, so start from the invocation prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, thank you so much for coming, attending today's class. I really appreciate your being here, and I really ask for your blessings so that I can say the words which are helpful for all of us and which are according to the scriptures without any concoction. So today we are reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5 and text 21. So, yes, 21. Okay. So, Bhaya Sparshesh Asaktatma Vindati Atmaniyat Sukham Sabrama Yoga Yuktatma Sukham Akshayam Ashnute. If you would like to repeat, Bhaya Sparshesh Asaktatma Vindati Atmaniyat Sukham Sabrama Yoga Yuktatma Sukham Akshayam Ashnute. Thank you. Would you like to recite? Bhaya Sparshesh Asaktatma Vindati Atmaniyat Sukham Sa Brahma Yoga Yuktatma Sukhamakshayamashnuta. Great. Okay, word for word translation. Bahya sparsheshu, in external sense pleasure. Asakta atma, one who is not attached. Vindati, enjoys. Atmani, in the self. Yat, that which. Sukham, happiness. Sa, he. Brahma Yoga, by concentration in Brahman. Yukta Atma, self-connected. Sukham, happiness. Akshayam, unlimited. Ashnute, enjoys. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Such a liberated person is not attached to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. Purport. Sri Yamunacharya, a great devotee in Krishna consciousness, said, Yat avadi mama chetta Krishna padara vinde, navanam parasa damani udyatam rantun asit, tat avadi batanari samgames maryamane, bhavati mukha vikaraha sushtu nishtivanam cha. Since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought, and my lips curl with distaste. A person in Brahma Yoga or Krishna consciousness is so absorbed in the loving service of the Lord that he loses his taste for material sense pleasure altogether. The highest pleasure in terms of matter is sex pleasure. The whole world is moving under its spell, and the materialist cannot work at all without this motivation. But a person engaged in Krishna consciousness can work with greater vigor without sex pleasure, which he avoids. That is the test in spiritual realization. Spiritual realization and sex pleasure go ill together. A Krishna conscious person is not attracted to any kind of sense pleasure, due to his being a liberated soul. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvei Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitayena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. One more time translation. Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. So I was thinking, because it is said here, such a liberated person, so this in a way also refers to the previous verse, because this word such refers to the previous verse. So I would like to read also the previous translation, which says, a person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant, nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the science of God, is already situated in transcendence. So I was thinking it would be nice if we understand more about the qualities of this person who is in transcendence. So it is said here that this person neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant, nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant. Yeah, so I would like to ask you a question. Why is it wrong to, when something good happens in our life, to be very excited and to be so happy that we organize a party and invite friends and tell everyone and be so excited about it, and at the same time it is also not good when something bad happens and we become so overloaded with negative emotions, negative feelings. From this verse, we understand that this is not good, but why? Why is it not good? What do you think? Because after all, we are just human beings, and it is natural for us to experience emotions. But yeah, why is it here said that actually this is our aspiration, to be equipoised in happiness and distress? Why? What do you think?
Really very important thing to discuss. Actually, human beings, we are emotional living entities. We're not rational living entities, and we have emotions, and we should have emotions. It's very important. And even in spiritual life, actually, emotions are not eradicated. Emotions are becoming more and more subtle, and actually we are becoming more and more sensitive about the things which were not so important for us maybe in the past. So that's how it is. Emotions are here, and they can be really, really, really helpful and useful in our Krishna consciousness. The main thing is that to experience emotions, there is nothing wrong in that, but you have to be really very, very cautious not to forget Krishna when you are experiencing these emotions, and when you're going through something like when you're too happy or too morose or something, whatever happens in your life. Just it's very, very important to connect everything with Krishna. Then you will really experience something spiritual as well, and these emotions will help you to come closer to Krishna. Yeah, we shouldn't be dry. We shouldn't be dry, definitely. But we have to be really very careful about our emotions and not to forget Krishna.
Thank you. That is a really nice point. To summarize what you said is that there is nothing wrong in our emotions. It's completely natural, and it's even favorable, because otherwise we become like a stone, and this is not good. But these emotions, while experiencing different emotions, we always need to keep Krishna in the center. Remember Krishna. Thank you for sharing. That was really nice. Kamal, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Nityaras made a really good point, and also we get caught up. It's not good to. I mean, it's difficult though, because we do when we get really happy or really excited about something, we do. But sometimes even like mundane things, because we're still not elevated. But like Nityaras said, it's normal and to have these emotions and even desires, but we're purifying them for Krishna. And I guess in some circumstances, like it's good to be happy about Mahaprasad.
Yeah, that is the point.
So I think it's over time, it's making the
Definitely.
like purifying it and just directing it towards Krishna. I think it takes some time, because we do get affected. If something goes on, someone in our family or something, or health, we get distressed.
Definitely.
But I think I've noticed, like, as I've come deep in Krishna consciousness, like, even in the distress, though, I'm saying Krishna's name.
That's really nice.
So
Yeah.
it changes, you know. It was before you'd be like, oh.
Yeah, that is really good. You know, we are lucky that even if we are going through emotions, and even if it seems like it is because of our attachments to this material world, but still we are lucky that we can, in this misery or in happiness, we can remember Krishna, and even it can be sometimes, good situation, like Queen Kunti is praying for the miseries in her life so that she can remember Krishna. So we are lucky that in bad situations, when they happen, we can remember Krishna. We can think, okay, this is your mercy, this is what you want to teach me. Like Chandramuli Maharaj was giving class and he was saying there's nothing inauspicious in spiritual life, because whatever happens is really Krishna's mercy. He wants us to learn something from this situation. Yeah, thank you. That was really nice what you said. And also I was thinking about the verse which says Matra Sparchastu Kaunteya Shitushna Sukha Dukkaya Agamapaino Nityas Tamsitakshasva Bharata. So this verse says that this appearance and disappearance of seasons, like summer comes, and then spring comes, they come and go. And similarly, the happiness and the stress, they come and go. And that's why we should not be bewildered by it. We should not be disturbed by it, because it's all just temporary. And if we get attached, for example, to happiness, if we get attached to this material happiness, then we want to experience it again and again, and then we will try different material means how I can enjoy this happiness again. So we will start planning, how can I enjoy, and as well, if we are very attached to our negative feelings, then they become like a poison. This negativity, that's Jankinath Prabhu actually, he was preaching a lot about this negativity, how it really acts like a poison if we meditate on those negative emotions. So that's why it's just better to let it go and move on and just accept that whatever is happening to me, it is there, but it is going to pass, it's not going to last forever. So that is one point, to try to accept that. And then it is said that the person is self-intelligent. So this is also very interesting, to be self-intelligent, meaning, in my understanding, it means to understand who am I, what is my position in this material world, and what is my position in the ultimate realm, that my position is to be the servant of God. And it is said also a person who is unbewildered. And this is very interesting, unbewildered, because this actually, we can go to today's verse, and that will say more about being bewildered. So, okay, so coming to today's verse, it is speaking about liberated person who is not attracted to material sense pleasure. And this material sense pleasure, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the highest pleasure in terms of matter is sex pleasure, and the whole world is moving under its spell. And this is very interesting, because how Srila Prabhupada describes it as a spell. To be under the spell, to be under the spell means almost like being completely in illusion, to be in some kind of delusion, in being far away from reality. But this is our situation in this material world, that we are really disillusioned, thinking that there is something, in this material world that is really to be enjoyed, and it's not completely that there is no happiness, no pleasure in the material world. There is some happiness and some pleasure, but it is compared to a drop of water in the desert. When you're in the desert and you are so thirsty, you really need water, and then somebody gives you a drop of water, and this drop is going to agitate your mind even more, because you're so thirsty that you just be disturbed by it even more. So similarly, if we are trying to be happy in this material world, but by this sense pleasure, we are going to get this drop of happiness, but we will not feel satisfied. We will feel like it didn't really satisfy my quench, my thirst. It didn't satisfy my thirst. So there is also this comparison that this last is like the more we like a fire, and if you are trying to add ghee to the fire, then it stops the fire for a while. So that is when we are trying to satisfy our material desires. So it's like putting ghee to the fire, and it stops for a while, but then it burns even more. And then actually this material desires increase. It's not like just by satisfying these material desires, we are not going to be more satisfied. And that proves that we have to look for the satisfaction somewhere else. And it's interesting how it is described here about Sri Yamunacharya, a great devotee in Krishna consciousness, who says that, since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought and my lips curl with distaste. So this person who is experiencing so much pleasure from Krishna consciousness is actually disgusted from material pleasure. And this is something for us, at least for me, it is very incredible to see someone like that. And then we may think, how is it possible? How is it possible to be completely detached from material sense pleasure? Is it possible? Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, it is possible, but there is some way to go before you come to this point. Actually, it's really very difficult when I think about it as well. Just if you're really fixed in your practice and you're really demanding from yourself, Krishna really reciprocates and he gives you experience, some taste, and this is something which never ever makes you fall down or something. If you have taste, then you will be all right. But sometimes this taste disappears, unfortunately, and then that's a challenge for us. And actually, this is time when Krishna is just looking at us and he's thinking, let's see what he's or she is gonna do now. And this is really difficult time for us. But even to remember about it, that sometimes it happens, this dark night of the soul, or how do we call that? It comes. Then probably we will be prepared for that, and we will not forget about Krishna, and that this is something which is not like this is just temporary and it will finish at some point. So it is possible.
It is possible, yes. Thank you. I mean, we have the example here of Sri Yamunacharya, and so we can be sure that it is possible. And like you mentioned, this very interesting, very important point that we have to be focused. And this is what it is said here, that a person in Brahma Yoga or Krishna consciousness is so absorbed in the loving service of the Lord that he loses his taste for material sense pleasure altogether. So like you said, when we develop taste, we develop higher taste, then we are disinterested. And the acharyas, they compare it to this. It is said that, why would you eat mud if you have sweets, if you can eat sweets? So similarly, Srila Prabhupada would say that, we are not stupid. You think we are stupid that we would give up something if we didn't have something higher, something better than this. And also my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Swami, he's always saying that he said, I boldly declare that I'm looking for the best, and this is what I found. This is the best. Krishna consciousness is the best. And if you have something higher than this, I will take it, because I want something which is the best. But we know that this is the best. He knows that this is the highest happiness, the highest pleasure that we can have in this, in the world and beyond the world. So he says that, but if anyone has something better, yes, please share it with me. But the thing is that in Krishna consciousness, if we are really absorbed, if we are really focused, then we are fully satisfied. We are not looking for anything else. But this absorption, this is the point here, and it is possible. I was thinking. I remember when I was a teenager. Sometimes, when I was on my computer chatting with my friends or playing some games, I would get so absorbed that my mother sometimes would say something to me and I wouldn't hear her at all. And then she would say to me that, you were so absorbed, you didn't even hear me. And I was thinking, wow, I didn't notice. And so, unfortunately that wasn't Krishna conscious absorption. But it is possible, and by this absorption we can really experience the higher taste, and only then we can renounce the lower taste, like you were mentioning. Even when you think about it, when the child, like little child, is eating very, very plain food, first just only drinking mother's milk, and then slowly introducing new varieties of food stuff, but it's usually plain, something plain, not much spices, not much salt. But then gradually, as the child grows up, then starts to try different things, and then develops more taste for more tasty food, and doesn't want to eat anymore something which is not spicy, which is not nicely prepared. So similarly, if we develop taste in Krishna consciousness, we will not be moved by lower taste. And it is a really nice point also made here, that the person engaged in Krishna consciousness can work with great vigor without sex pleasure, which he avoids. And before it is said that this sex pleasure is the whole world is moving under its spell, and the materialist cannot work at all without this motivation. So this is the motivation, when we look in this material world, everyone is working very hard to get some sense gratification, to get a nice house, to get a nice car, and to have a good prestige, good position in society, and then have a nice relationship and go for holiday, and so on and so on. This is the driving force. But a person in Krishna consciousness can work with greater vigor without this motivation that I'm going to get some sense pleasure from this. So then what is the motivation for a Krishna conscious person? Why, yeah.
What motivates us?
Yeah.
To practicing more,
Yeah, to practice Krishna consciousness, because somebody may say, what are you doing there? You know, you sleep, some people sleep on the floor, and now during this lockdown you're just sitting in one place, you're not going out, you're not, now everything is opening, but you're still sitting there in this temple, you're not going to the cinema, you're not going to the restaurants, you're wasting your time. So why were you doing that?
I think if a person is quite early on in their Krishna consciousness, and Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that either they approach Krishna for wealth, or relief from distress, without inquisitiveness, and so on and so on. So I think if a person is practicing that, they can see the result that yes, if they do it, then these things are coming. Either that they are getting to the ground, or they're getting relief from suffering, or their answers are, their questions are being answered. And I think like that, I always think of it as that if I ask someone for directions or advice, and if I apply that advice and it works for me, then I feel I have more faith in that person, more conviction.
Yeah.
Go back to them and ask them for more. I think it's like that in the process that you follow a little bit, and if the end of this works, I feel happy. It's not that someone is like when you're hungry, but you have something to eat, you know when you're satisfied and stuff like that. And if someone following this, you feel like I'm happy, I'm content, and it's not like anyone is forcing you to do it.
Yeah, thank you. That's a really nice point. So that means we have to try this Krishna consciousness for ourselves, isn't it? And then we will develop faith. We will see that we do a little bit for Krishna and he reciprocates so much. And yeah, there is nothing wrong in that, to even come to Krishna consciousness with some material desires, even to pray to Krishna for fulfillment of material desires. It's okay. This is better than looking for this fulfillment somewhere else. And gradually we will be purified and our desires will become purified. So yes, this reciprocation is very important. That's a good point. We will develop faith. We will develop the trust that it is working for me. Yeah. And this is a very interesting story, was that when Giriraj Swami, he joined the Krishna conscious movement, and his father wanted him to come back, and he was saying, he was offering, he gave actually to Srila Prabhupada the check, which was 1 million, or even it was empty. He said to just put whatever amount you want, as much as you want, and I will sign it. And just as long as you give my son back to me. But Srila Prabhupada said, I'm not keeping him. I don't mind if he wants to go, I cannot keep him here. But he doesn't want to go. And yes, he didn't want to go. Giriraj Swami didn't want to go back to his millionaire life. Because, yeah, Krishna is the biggest millionaire, and he's much richer than any other millionaire in this material world, and his wealth is beyond this material understanding of wealth. And when we develop relationship with him, we really feel that we are so rich in this feeling of satisfaction, feeling of love. This is our situation actually in this material world, that we are like a child who left our billionaire father, and we're just loitering on the street and trying to be happy, trying to be independently happy, but we cannot be happy really without our father, and he's waiting there for us. And and actually we cannot find our way back by ourselves, but luckily there is someone who wants to help us, and who comes and who gives his hand and says, I will take you to your billionaire father, and on the way I will provide everything for you. I will give you food, place to sleep, I will take care of all your needs, just hold on to me and I will take you back. And this is the spiritual master, our spiritual master for all of us. Original spiritual master is His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. And of course we have also initiating gurus in ISKCON, and they are helping us to go back to where we belong, to take us back to our Father. So we're in an extremely lucky situation being in ISKCON, and we just have to hold on to it, and it's guaranteed that we will one day be in this situation where we won't be really, where we will be like this, like Yamunacharya, hopefully one day, yes, we will be completely disinterested in this sense enjoyment, and will be ready to take to the pure devotional service. Yeah, so I would like to stop here. If there are any questions or comments, that would be nice, or some realizations to share.
I was just thinking it's quite interesting that we had this higher taste, and we think that yes, this process is working and I'm getting happy from it. But then I was thinking, what about those that have followed the process, but yet they still leave it for something else, for material enjoyment?
Yeah, that is very sad. You're saying that that it happens that even somebody is joining the Krishna conscious movement, but for some reason they are leaving. Yeah, it happens sometimes, but even if they leave, it is said in Bhagavad Gita that there is no, in this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and even small advancement can protect you from the biggest type of fear. So yeah, whatever we do in this Krishna consciousness, it bless you, it gives us huge and permanent benefit. Like in this material world, whatever we do at the time of death, everything is lost. If you had a PhD title or if you have so much money, at the time of death it's all gone. But whatever we do in Krishna consciousness, even small progress, it will go with us to the next life. So yeah, and yes, sometimes it happens that devotees leave, but at least there is no loss in that. And hopefully one day they will come back. Because like we said, once you taste this pleasure in Krishna consciousness, nothing can compare to it. So hopefully they will come back. Would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I was just saying that it's really difficult to forget Krishna after you experience something, even with something, because this taste cannot be compared to anything else. So people who are living from ISKCON, from Krishna consciousness, they are still in Krishna consciousness at some point actually, because it's really very difficult just to believe it,
Yeah.
It's always there in your mind, in your heart, but you're trying to hide it, and unfortunately it happens a lot as well. I was just listening today my Guru Maharaj's class, and he was saying that he got a letter from one person who just disappeared one day, like he was living with devotees, but he just left. And one day he sent a letter to Guru Maharaj, and he was saying that, actually I experienced a lot, and I realized that I'm Krishna, I'm Hare Krishna. So, these kind of stories. Here, and it's really sad. But
Yeah, maybe sometimes yes, there is still some need of experience how this material world is not a place to be happy. But
it said that there is no mistake if you are using it properly in developing your Krishna consciousness. So if it helps you somehow to realize that you really don't want it anymore, that's it, finished, then there is no problem even. But yeah, better not to lose time, of course. Much better. Yeah.
yes, that's true. Thank you so much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavansam Shri Rupam Chakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Shadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitanscha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna